You know why you do it. You know where it comes from. You can trace it back to the parent, to the moment, to the version of yourself that learned a particular lesson at a particularly vulnerable age. You have the language for it. You have the framework. You have sat across from someone who nodded at exactly the right moments and reflected your experience back to you with precision and warmth. And yet, here you are, still, doing the thing you understand so well, still feeling the thing you have named so thoroughly, still returning with remarkable consistency to the exact place you have been trying to leave for longer than you would like to admit. I'm not here to tell you therapy is wrong. I want to be precise about that. Because what I am about to say is not an argument against sitting with someone who is trained to listen. That can be one of the most valuable things a human being ever does. What I am here to talk about is a specific experience that more people are having than are willing to say out loud. The experience of understanding everything and changing nothing. There is a version of therapy and a version of self-help, a version of every healing practice that exists that becomes, without anyone intending it, another form of avoidance. Not because the practice is bad, but because the human mind is extraordinarily creative when it comes to finding ways to approach the thing it fears without ever actually arriving there. You can talk about the wound for years without ever fully feeling it. You can understand its origins with academic precision and remain completely untouched by it at the level where it actually lives. You can become a very sophisticated person who knows a great deal about their trauma and carry that trauma as skillfully and completely as the day you walked into the first session. Let me tell you what actually changes a person. Not information, not insight, not the correct diagnosis or the most accurate framework or the most eloquent description of what happened to you and why. What changes a person is an experience. Something that happens not in the mind, but in the body. Not in the understanding, but in the feeling. A moment where the thing that has been held tightly, held safely, held at a careful distance, is finally allowed to move. Not analyzed, not explained, not witnessed from a comfortable remove. Moved through. The mind is a remarkable instrument, but it has a particular limitation that it does not advertise. It cannot heal what it cannot fully feel. And feeling, genuine, complete, uninterrupted feeling, is precisely what the mind is most practiced at preventing. Because feeling is dangerous. The mind learned that very early. When you were small and the feeling was too large for the room, the mind stepped in. It built a structure, a story, an explanation, a distance, something that made the feeling manageable, survivable. And that structure saved you. I want you to understand that. It was not a failure. It was intelligence. It was the most creative thing a small person could do in an impossible situation. But you are no longer in that situation, and the structure remains. And now, when you sit across from someone who asks you to talk about the thing, the structure activates. It produces words, good words, accurate words, words that describe the feeling from a safe distance. And the feeling itself, the actual animal of it, stays exactly where it has always been, untouched, waiting. I want to ask you something that may be uncomfortable to sit with. When you talk about what happened to you, do you feel it? Not remember it, not understand it, not construct a coherent narrative about it. Do you feel it? In the chest, in the throat, in the place where it actually lives? Or do you feel something more like a kind of comfortable distance? A a sense of having arrived at the correct description of something that happened to someone who was almost you. Because there is a difference, and it is the most important difference between talking about pain and being in contact with it. Therapy, at its best, creates the conditions for contact, a safe container, a regulated presence, a space where the thing that was too large before might finally find room to exist. But the contact itself cannot be given to you. It cannot be facilitated into existence. It cannot be explained into happening. It requires something that no amount of therapeutic technique can substitute for: the willingness to stop managing the feeling and let it arrive. Here is what I see happening in the lives of people who have been working on themselves for a very long time.
They become expert witnesses to their own pain. They can describe it from every angle. They understand its history, its triggers, its relationship to their attachment style and their nervous system and their earliest memories. They have done the reading, they have done the sessions, they have done the retreats and the courses and the breath work and the journaling, and they are still, in the quiet, in the middle of an ordinary Wednesday, ambushed by the same feeling they have been working on for a decade. Not because they failed, but because none of those things, none of them, required them to stop explaining and start feeling. The explanation is a kind of armor. I want you to hear that without defending against it, because I am not saying your explanations are wrong. I am saying they may be functioning as the most sophisticated wall you have ever built, because it is made of insight rather than ignorance, and walls made of insight are very hard to see as walls. When someone challenges your ignorance, you notice. When someone challenges your insight, you have an explanation ready. And the feeling stays exactly where it has always been, safe behind the architecture of everything you know about it. What would it mean to put down the explanation, just for a moment, and simply be in the presence of the thing itself? Not to understand it, not to trace its origins, not to place it within a framework that makes it meaningful, just to feel it, without narrating it, without immediately moving to what it means or where it came from or what you are supposed to do with it. To let it be, exactly as large as it actually is, for as long as it needs to be, without the mind rushing in to make it smaller. That is terrifying for most people, and I understand why. Because the last time the feeling was that large, there was no structure around it, no language for it, no one sitting across from you reflecting it back with warmth and precision. There was just the feeling and a small person and the overwhelming sense that this was too much. And the mind learned in that moment that feelings at full size are dangerous. So it built the structures, and the structures worked, and you survived. And now, years later, you sit in a room with someone trained to help you, and you produce the story of the feeling with such fluency that neither of you notices that the feeling itself never entered the room. I am not telling you to stop going. I am not telling you the relationship isn't valuable. I am asking you to consider adding one thing to whatever practice you already have. One question, asked in the quiet, after the session, after the journal entry, after the insight lands and you feel the familiar satisfaction of having understood something new. Ask yourself, did I feel that or did I understand it? Because those are different rooms, and only one of them leads to the door you have been looking for. Change is not the accumulation of insight. Change is the moment when the body, not the mind, experiences something differently than it has before. When the thing that always made you contract produces, even once,
something other than contraction. When the pattern that is run since before you had words for it meets a moment of enough safety, enough presence, enough stillness to do something it has never done. Pause. And in that pause, reconsider. That is not a technique. That is not a method. That is what healing actually looks like in a human life. Quiet, slow, felt rather than understood. And it cannot be rushed. It cannot be optimized. It cannot be achieved by knowing more about it. The map is not the territory. You have a very good map. Now, put it down and walk into the territory. That is where the change you have been working toward has been waiting. Not in a new framework, not in a better explanation, not in the correct understanding of everything that happened. In the moment you stopped understanding it and simply arrived.